All right, what is up, everybody? Shell Scout 0013 here, coming in for a update, basically on the rules updates and the battle force for the Shadow Collective. And I just wanted to kind of say I've kind of, just been busy doing stuff with my business and trying to come up with, more videos and stuff for all of my clients. And so it's just kind of taking up a lot of time. And so now I can get back to here for us just a little bit and kind of explain some of the things for you guys. I'm just going to give you an example list, basically, and kind of explain a few things with even Gar Saxon. So first, the very, very bottom of the new Star Wars rules reference, basically at page 89, you're going to get the new version here with aid, independent, and all that other good stuff. So if you're really looking for it, I'm not going to read it all, just kind of want you guys to know where to find it and where you can get it. And even Krabak does a really good job of explaining a lot of good stuff. So if you haven't, you can also go to him and watch a lot of stuff. But units, I'm going to explain kind of like the allies of convenience. So with units with the allies of convenience keyword may issue orders to friendly mercenary units regardless of affiliation. Now that's already on Gar Saxon and Maul. And then there's an upgrade card that you can put on any other commander that will allow you basically to use your commander's courage for all of the mercenary units and will be able to give orders to them. And then you'll be able to, and basically, additionally, when the building an army, you may include one extra mercenary unit in your army, regardless of rank, if there's at least one unit with the allies of convenience keyword. Basically, yeah. And the upgrade card, I forgot which one it is, that will give it that to you. To any other one will, allow you to do that. Though you cannot take more units of particular rank than normally allowed. So basically, if you have someone in an Imperial army or anywhere else, here's the example. For example, a Galactic Empire army that includes one or more Black Sun enforcers must field at least 3 non-mercenary core units and cannot field a combined number of 6. So yeah, you're going to have at least 3 stormtroopers and then 2 Black Sun enforcers, unless you have, because an army may include only 2 mercenary units of the core rank and only 1 mercenary unit of each other rank. So if you have the allies and convenience, you can add another one. Basically, you can have your third one, and you'd have to have your 3 core units already. But you can't take more than 2 usually, and then you wouldn't be able to take more than 1, of the other ones, unless. So you can't do double bounty, I think, unless you have the allies of convenience, because they're going to be rogues, mercenary units. So, yep, there is that. Also, kind of the same, like, if you have a commander, yeah. So here's kind of like a list, and I'll kind of explain more actually about the stuff in the new rules. The Battle Force rules here for the Shadow Collective is already up. It's the second page. They're going to probably add a lot more to it with all the other battle forces, which I feel like is definitely going to happen. And it gives you all the allowed units. It gives you the special rules. It gives you the skirmish rank requirements. It gives you the requirements required for the Shadow Collective in general. So basically, the Shadow Collective is a dark side battle force. You are only allowed the Black Sun Vigo, Gar Saxon, and Pike Syndicate Capo as a commander, Maul as an operative, or Maul can become eventually a commander with a Darksaber, and then Bosk and Cad Bane can also be an operative in the Shadow Collective. So no Boba Fett, no pretty much full on Mando list. There you go. Special forces, Mandalorian super commandos. And then supports, you could use swoop bikes, and the heavies, you could use AA5 speeder trucks. The unique upgrades are basically the ones that have that little dot on there that you can only, bring one. So the Darksaber, raiding party leader, Rook cast, Saxon's combat shield, the rifle, his rifle, his jetpack rockets, and his flamethrower. There's only allowed one of those. So you're allowed to have them also, basically. And so the rank requirements, everything that we want to know. So the commander and operative. So each army must include 1 to 4 commander or operative units, and at least one must be a commander. So you still have to have your at least one commander, as always, but you're allowed up to 3 more commanders or 1 more commander and 2 operatives. So as long as there's 4 between the 2, you're allowed up to a minimum of 2 core units, which is different than your standard, way of having to do stuff. You can go down to 2 up to 6, which is normal. And then special forces, you can include up to 4 special forces units, and there's only 1 special forces unit. So you obviously know they're telling you could take 4 mando commandos. And so that's what I'm pretty much always going to do, because I mean, they're awesome. And then supports. What do I need to say anything else? Each army may include up to 3 support units, so you can have 3 bikes. And then each army may include up to 2 AA5s at the moment, or just 2 heavies. So whenever they come up with more stuff, again, this is what you're going to have to follow in order to make that list to fit the battle force rules. The special rules basically are saying that the battle force must be composed entirely of mercenary units, and they do count towards the minimum number of ranks required, and the army may include any number of mercenary units of any rank. Basically, a Shadow Collective, again, on the dark side, and they've also, again, got the skirmish stuff. So with skirmish, each army may include 1 to 2 commanders or operatives, and at least 1 must be a commander. So you can have 2 commanders and a commander and an operative. I mean, that's pretty normal, I'd say. And then each army must include at least 1 corps, which is awesome, especially if you want to go with a ton of special forces, and up to 4 corps units. So that's pretty cool. And then special forces, you can include up to 3 special force units, which is different than your normal skirmish, which only allows up to 2, because I can never take Iden because of her. In skirmish, I never take Iden because that you can't make use of her 3-pit very well. And then supports, each army may include up to two bikes, up to 2 supports, and then heavy, you can only include 1. Makes sense. It's only a 500-point game. So yeah, so this is basically here. So if you wanted to, they've got a specific spot on the AMG site under the Star Wars transmission. Well, not Star Wars transmissions, but the Star Wars Legion spot. They're going to have, the Shadow Collective Battle Force. So I went ahead and just kind of made a quick little Battle Force, mostly using mandos. This has 4 mando units. It's only got your 2 pikes with the Electro Whip. I mean, it's definitely close range, even though a lot of these are close range anyway. It's easier to put that heavy on there with melee to range 1 with 2 red and an immobilized and suppressive. So yeah, it's a cheap heavy. It's only 10 points. So why not? Or with Gar Saxon, they don't have his shield up right now. And as far as I know, you should still be able to bring that into the battle force. So when they get that back up, that'll be, I'll have to take off 5 points from somewhere. And obviously there's a few places we could do that if we needed to, but kind of to explain, so I don't make this video a million hours long, I have put these upgrades on Gar Saxon, and I feel like this is with his shield, I feel like that would be perfect for him. Now you can do another training slot if you wanted to. You could go with the emergency transponder, and or whenever if you wanted to, you could go with prepared supplies and his shield. But again, that's a lot of points on Gar Saxon, and he's only, again, got 5 health, 2 courage. So you're going to have to just, again, be careful of his suppression. The jump 2, he's got compel, which is going to be great. So they're going to have suppression, but you're going to want someone to kind of take some of that off. So yeah, if you didn't want emergency transponder, maybe with the Pike Syndicate, you could also give lead by example, the other guy. So you have 2 lead by examples. You have 2 commanders. So we can have up to 4 commander operatives. So I've chosen 3 commanders. 2 of them will be the Pike Syndicate capos. And then I've got your minimum 2 Pike Syndicate foot soldiers with the heavy Electro Whip. Now, this is not going to be the craziest anti-tank, but we can make it anti-armor, I should say, anti-armor. Now we can make it that way. And there's a few things that we can do. So right now, if we were to take off one of the Electro Whip soldiers, if we took both of them off, we would definitely give him his shield that he can regenerate every other turn, and that would still leave 10 points extra to go with anywhere. You could probably put that in one of the gun slots over here. But I have the Super Commando jetpack rockets with the Super Commando marksman because they're going to be in the back anyway. So I feel like if people who want to do the Commando marksman don't need the Super Commando combat shield because they're not going to be getting that close, and they're probably going to be staying in as much cover and or on top of roofs as much as they can. So for the most part, I don't think that they're going to need the shields if you use the Super Commando. marksman, but I do give them the jetpack rockets just for the mere fact that they're going to be long range anyway, because super commando is range 1 to 3. So right before you get to range 1 to 3, you could just take an aim, go with the super commando jetpack rockets. It would be range 4, 4 red, blast, critical 4, impact 4. So you're going to get 4 crits for the most part if you especially have an aim. And yeah, so that's going to be 4 rolls. Gar Saxon has his jetpack rockets, which will cycle. And so at the end of his activation, if he didn't use it, so every other turn, you're going to have impact 2 every other turn with blast and surging to crit. So that's another anti-armor right there. But if you wanted to, you could take off the electro whips. Like I said, give yourself some naked pikes with the Pike Syndicate capos. Also, using the Pike Syndicate capos, lead by example for either the Mando Super Commandos or even Gar Saxon himself. There's that. And then, yeah, with the Super Commando Gunslingers, I would go with the combat shields because they're going to be pretty close in combat. And so they might not have cover at a moment because they're going to be getting out of cover to try to get into either range or melee or anything like that. So that's why I would give them that. And I also put Rook Cast in here with Gar Saxon, even though there's no maul and there's no retinue. I mean, she's got 2 red, 2 white at range 1 to 2, which is better than the gunslinger. And she's got 2 hit points instead of 1. And it's only 5 points more. So, and yeah, so, and she's a leader. So yeah, if I can go ahead and put her in anywhere, I will, because that's an extra health on that mano support on that mano unit. And then I also gave her up close and personal to make her last a little bit longer because, you know, obviously I want the 2 red, 2 white to be a little bit better than the 2 black and 2 white with, you know, an extra health and stuff. So I feel like that's worth the 5 extra points to have. And then putting up close and personal on them because she's going to be getting in with Gar Saxon and doing some damage. You know, if you wanted to, again, with Gar Saxon, you could put on, you know, emergency transponder, make him pretty tanky. When he needs an aim, he'd have that 10, which would make it 793 for his. I don't understand why they just don't have his shield, but yeah, you'd be at 793. You could have about 7 more points to do with what you wanted to. You can give another Mando unit the up close and personal. I mean, that's just up to you, but that's 9 acts, 4 Mandos, pretty much kind of kitted out, in my opinion, to the bare minimum of what I would want them to have. Gar Saxon, this would be kind of like a good minimum to have. And then I'm having 2 Pike Syndicate capos with lead by example for suppression purposes. And so that this Pike can continue to do everything they can for one of them. And then the other one can also do what they can for the other one. And you also can have like one army of Mandos going one way and then the Pikes and other stuff doing their own thing. So that way you don't have to really worry about, you know, fighting with the Pikes very often. And then the Super Commandos are going to last a while. Even though they've got 1 health, they've got surge to defense on red dice. So, and, you know, defend 1 or getting independent aim. Yeah. I think this is fantastic for them. But yeah, all right, guys, that is pretty much what I'm going to do. I think, oh yeah, so whoops, his command cards and how he will interact with them. So with Gar Saxon marked for elimination, this is basically just for him. He's going to gain 2 aim tokens, choose an enemy choose an enemy commander or an operative unit. So it doesn't have to be at a certain range. You can just pick anyone on the board that is a commander and operative. They're going to gain 4 observation tokens. So that way, if you shoot at them, you can use an observation token to reroll 1 of your dice, and you're going to gain 4 of those. And then they're going to have 2 suppression tokens. So you're probably going to gain light cover, but that's also 2 suppression. And if they've got courage 2, that's only 1 action. So, and also say that you're using this when you're not that far away from them, because I didn't put the rifle on him, mostly because, I mean, I can go with the flame projector. It's cheap and it's going to just, you know, do its job if it needs to, if he's in a quick, tight situation. And then Gar Saxon, like, you don't even need it. Honestly, if you don't want the flame projector, you don't have to do the flame projector because he's got a pretty good melee. But if you really wanted to, you know, scare off a ton of units that are kind of getting onto him, like say, so Wookiees get onto him and you've got a full unit of 4 Wookiees, then you're rolling 8 dice, surging to crit. It's, yeah, so no cover, spray for everyone, suppressive, even when it's on there. So they don't have armor anyway. So or cover when they're in melee. So yeah. And if you get close to them, it doesn't matter then either. So that would be good to have to do more damage in the close range area. That's just up to you. I'm going to have it on him just as, just in case. And then his flame or his jetpack rockets are range 2 to 3. So he's not going to be the range 1 to 5 that his gun could give him. But with the jetpack rockets cycling with blast, so you're always going to ignore cover, and impact 2 in case there's armor, you're going to be able to do really, really well with those jetpack rockets. And again, with jetpack rockets on the Super Commando Marksman. Now, again, you don't have to have that if you don't want to, but it's just up to you. So I'm going to go with this 1 pip. And then obviously I would go with Ploy because it's just any of these mercenary units. And then you can go with aggression and then fight another day. So with fight another day, he's giving it to himself and 2 other mandos. So with that, I would probably keep Rook Cast. You can either keep Rook Cast near Gar Saxon or you can keep them away. It's just kind of up to you of what you want to do. But you've got 4 Mando units, 2 gunslingers, kind of 3 gunslingers in a way, because they're all range 1 to 2 with their heavies, except for this one. So you're going to want to keep Gar Saxon close to as many of them as you can, and keep Gar Saxon with your Mandos, not with the Pikes or anyone else. And I would keep your, Gar Saxon kind of supported with Mandos all the time. And you're not going to be able to give issues beyond range 1. That's why you want to kind of keep them close to Gar Saxon as much as you can, or keep Gar Saxon close to them. Whatever, whoever's moving first or last, you want to make sure to kind of keep them a little bit together when you're using this card. So you might be able to use it on turn 2. Maybe on turn 1 or deployment, you didn't deploy them pretty close to each other. So maybe turn 1, you go ahead and try to get all of them moved and near each other. And then on the second turn, you will give them all a dodge. So when Gar Saxon issues an order to a unit, that issue gains a dodge token. And then Gar Saxon and each friendly Mando unit basically gains outmaneuver, so situational awareness. So yeah, if you give out this card, Gar Saxon, to maybe your Mandos with Rook, and then another one with maybe the Marksman here, they're going to gain, well, no, yeah. So let's go give the other 2 to maybe the Mando Super Commandos, because Rook's going to be able to get up close and personal and to gain dodges if she needed to. So, and then they're going to get an aim. So I would ignore this one, let their independent kick in to get to give them an aim. And then when they do fire, they're going to get a dodge. So that's okay. That's good. So I'd give it to Gar Saxon and then keep maybe the Super Commando Gunslingers close to him so that they can gain a dodge. And then with Defend 1, they're going to go ahead and get 2 dodges, and they've got outmaneuver. So they're going to be able to use those dodges to cancel crits. Fantastic. That's awesome. So that's a good way to get 2 dodges on the Super Commandos and then move and attack, or do whatever you need to. You can even take an aim and attack if you're in a good spot. But, if you're doing it on turn 2, you're probably going to want to move in a little bit closer and do some slinging, but you'll also have 2 dodges to do that. And then for the 3 pips, I'd go with discretion. Basically, you can nominate a mercenary unit. When issuing orders, you may issue up to 3 fewer orders. And then for each order not issued, you can choose a friendly mercenary unit at range 1 to 3, and each of them gain a dodge. So if you chose Gar Saxon as your mercenary unit, and then you decided not to give anyone orders, anyone range 1 to 3 of him, which is 3 units. So you could give it to 3 of the commandos. You can give them dodges. Yeah. So boom, that's pretty awesome. Now the 2 pip aggression, basically you can nominate Gar Saxon and give out 2 fewer orders, so give out no orders. And then from Gar Saxon at range 1 to 3, give out an aim token. So maybe you can give the Super Commandos those aim tokens right here. And then give 3 units, maybe those special commandos, those dodges. Or like you could give them to the Pike Syndicate foot soldiers if they really need it. Okay. And then hopefully draw a Pike Syndicate capo. If you needed to, maybe if you had to, get rid of lead by example, and you could go with what is it, improvised orders, just in case. That wouldn't be too bad. And then let's see, go with discretion, and then victory or death. So Gar Saxon and 2 troopers. So you can give it to Gar Saxon and again 2 of the commandos. When he issues an order, that unit's going to gain an aim and a dodge, because if he issues it to the mandos, they're going to get a dodge for getting an order, and then they're going to get an aim from this command card. You're going to also, again, just like in his 2-pip, Gar Saxon and each friendly mando unit that was given or just each friendly mando unit gain outmaneuver. So it doesn't look like you have to give them an order. It just says Gar Saxon and each friendly special corps unit. So it's kind of like a free situational awareness in a way, I feel like. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it doesn't say that Gar Saxon in each, it doesn't say the ones that are given in order. It just says Gar Saxon in each friendly special forces unit gains outmaneuver. So you don't necessarily have to give them an order for them to gain the situational awareness. So that's what I like about this as well. And that's pretty much it. So in objectives, they're fast moving. So breakthrough would definitely be a really good one. Let's see. There's no infiltrate, so recover the flies might not be the best, but because they are so fast, you could possibly do it. With hostage exchange, it might not be the best at all. Bombing run probably wouldn't be that bad, because you've got 5 units that move at speed 3. To bombing run would also be pretty good. Payload probably wouldn't be that bad, because you could easily get as fast as you could to the other person's bomb cart. And then sabotage the motion evaporators, because I always go with that one, because you could probably get on their side with how fast you are as well. And then deployment, they're short range in some ways. They have a deadlier short range than a long range, but the Mandos have a range 1 to 3 attack. Okay. It's not the greatest, but they do have one. Gar Saxon doesn't have a range 1 to 3 attack, or 1 to anything attack, unless you, yeah, he's got a one at range 1 to 2, but the other ones that are here are range 2 to 3, and melee are range 1, and his rifle is range 1 to 4, but I don't have that, so he's going to be kind of close range. So maybe battle lines would be pretty bad at BBA. Sorry, advanced positions would be pretty good. You don't have any vehicles, so you don't need to roll out necessarily. Danger close wouldn't be that bad, but if they've got a force user, not the greatest. You're going to probably be red player, so they're going to have advantage if they've got bombing run and stuff. Unless you leave a really good bid, then you could go with that one. And obviously you would if you had this one. And major offensive. Sorry, guys, I'm all over the place today. But yeah, so that's 9 activations. This is 20 points less. Whenever they can fix this and they put his shield in, it'll be 790, giving you 10 extra points. And you could put maybe another rocket onto her, giving you 798 with a 2-point bid. Not that bad. But that's 4 commando units that are all have a heavy and basically the super commando shields if you wanted them to. You've got 3 commanders, and then you've got a pretty good Gar Saxon. If you guys like it, go ahead and leave a comment below. If you don't like it, leave a comment below and just let me know what you guys think. But I will catch you guys in the next video, and may the force be with you.